morning, everybody. I am so excited about the information that we're going to bring to you today. But before I get started, I want to give a small little tribute to all the mothers out there. Yesterday was your day. Now, whether you have, human children or fur babies, you're still moms. You have to make sure, whether they have skin or fur, that they get watered and they get to go to the bathroom and they get trained to start using the bathroom in the right spot. Hopefully not their pants if they're children with skin. So anyway, and I also know that I didn't take a minute on the show that I did over on Hero this morning, but I want to take a chance just to say, for those moms that maybe didn't get to be the moms they wanted to be, maybe it wasn't in the cards for you to become a mom. Maybe you are a grandparent raising a child. Maybe you're a dad that's raising your kids. Whoever you are, yesterday was a day to stop and say, we understand some people didn't have great moms. Some didn't have any at all. But some had amazing moms and had an amazing life growing up, still doing life with their moms. My mom's in glory, so I know she had a beautiful day yesterday. Did I miss her and want to hug her and kiss her? I did. But you know what? I got to kiss my children, not child. Yeah, I know. After you do a couple of these shows right in a row, mushroom ladies, they'll be able to tell you in a minute. They've been on the screen all morning. So it gets to where you get a little tongue-tied and you don't always say what your brain wants to say. It doesn't come out your mouth right. But I want to say happy Mother's Day to all of you. You do a great job of doing you and doing what you can do for those that love you. And I hope they all took time to just recognize how special you are and how amazing you are that you can keep everything on the rails in this day and age, because life's crazy, y'all. It's just nuts. And so before I bring the ladies on, I am going to pray, but I do want to say this because I want to put this into the prayer. Our health is coming at a great expense nowadays. Wayne and I have paid attention to a lot of the shows that we've been watching, and more, they're nothing but pharmaceutical commercials. Everybody's got something for a new something that's going on that I looked at him the other day and I said, how are you going to know if you've got that? I don't even know what that is. They're talking about all these symptoms and they want us to be sick. They want us to need to use our insurance. Or if you don't have insurance, then you're scared to death because it could be $1,000 for one prescription. Oh my goodness. So we're bringing this show to you today because we do respect the body. We respect everything God gave us. He gave us everything we need. He tells you in the beginning of Genesis that the seeds of the earth, that he gave us everything we need. He did not mean for us to be sick. He meant for us to be well and be whole. You need to speak it, but you got to believe it when you speak it. Even if you can't believe it yet, still speak it, because those things not seen, spoken, can come into existence, especially if you do believe it and you trust in him. But every now and then, we've done enough damage that we need to have a little help repairing it. So we're going to talk about that today. I'm super excited about what you could do to help yourself that isn't an injection or something that is made in a test tube possible. But before we start that, I'm going to start out with a word of prayer. Heavenly Father, thank you so much for everyone that stumbles upon this. And Lord, let it be good words that pours into their spirit, that they know, Father God, that you meant everything for your good, and that you want us strong and you want us to be enabled to do more for your kingdom. And Lord, just let us open our minds, open our ears, and shut out all the noise to where we can hear what you would have for us. We thank you, Lord, for each and every day. We thank you for your Son, Jesus Christ. And we thank you for salvation, that we get to live in eternity with you. In Jesus' name, amen. All right, I'm going to bring the ladies on. Good morning, Kristen.
Morning.
Morning, Diana. We're so glad to have you here.
We're happy to be here. And what a lovely tribute to the moms. You know, I'm not a mom, and I admire so much those that are. And yesterday was a great day for a lot of them. And for some of them, maybe not so great. Maybe their children weren't there for them. But at the same point, you know, they know that we're all there for them and that we appreciate what they do. Kristen, Trina, both of you, happy Mother's Day.
Thank you. And I sent you a Mother's Day because you
did.
are a mama to that boy of yours. That little baby fur baby of yours. He couldn't. Him or Dale, neither one could live without you. I'm just saying.
Well, that's a good point. Sometimes I feel like I'm a mama to Dale too. You know how that goes.
We have husbands. We get it.
Not a good mama. Okay, so we're going to just get started because today we got a lot of good stuff we want to pack in. And Trina, we thank you so much for everything that you do for this community and for all the work you put into these podcasts. You know, I don't think anyone realizes how hard you podcasters work out there. And our goal is for our pets' health. However, if we're not healthy, how are we going to help our critters, right? We bring them into our homes, we domesticate them, and we better take care of them. They depend on us. So today we've got some really cool stuff. We are the Mushroom Ladies. I'm Diana. I'm certified in holistic pet care and CBD. And this right there is Kristen. Kristen is certified in mycology, the study of mushrooms, and we're both certified in pet nutrition. Our flagship product is the Coriell's Versicola with over 400 medical studies. It gives support to the immune system, and it just can help the immune system deal with everything minor all the way to catastrophic. I tell this story every time I am on a podcast because never a time goes by where I don't get an email from someone who says, oh my gosh, I can't believe I turned on my TV and there you were and you spoke to me, or you spoke to me in regards to a family member or a friend. So remember that you can email us at trinawpets@gmail.com, and you can visit our website at trinawpets.com. My story is pretty simple. About almost 10 years ago, Kristen and I were talking about that this morning. It's been almost 10 years.
Oh my goodness.
I know that this company came about. We're not new to the mushroom world. The co-founders of this company have been working with mushrooms for well over 3 decades. So it's not something we just decided to jump on the bandwagon. They decided to bake this mushroom into a biscuit for animals because they saw what was going on with our animals. Our animals are dying at rates that are just horrible. 50% of them are dying from cancer. And at that point, they said, wait a minute, maybe we know how this works with humans. Maybe we can do this for animals. So I jumped in and dabbled in it the first couple of years. And then God, with his sense of humor and his wisdom, knew that he needed to give me something more to talk about. And that's when I was diagnosed with colon cancer. Mm-hmm. February of 2020, I was diagnosed with colon cancer. They told me that I would have to wait 30 days before I could be operated on, even though if the tumor exploded, it would kill me. But it was during pandemic. Everything was shut down. A board had to approve everything. And so I waited 30 days, but I didn't just sit back. I was proactive. And I started taking the Coriell's Versicola in the green bottle called Enforce. I started taking 10 of these a day. Why did I pick 10? Because normal dose is 1 per 50 pounds of body weight. I was 150 pounds, so 3 would have been normal. But I tripled up. I tripled up because I knew my body had been compromised. I knew my body needed extra support. And whatever your body doesn't use, it just dispels. It's just a whole food. 30 days later, I got the call to go into the hospital for pre-op blood work. I went into a scene out of the movie Outbreak, plastic on the walls, people walking around in hazmat suits, hardly anyone there. It was very eerie. And I had my blood drawn. I went home. 14 hours later, I received a request for a video conference. And there was my doctor with a big smile on his face. He's so handsome. And I'm wondering why he's smiling. I'm terrified, right? Diana, what are you doing? And I just was like the weirdest question. What do you mean, what am I doing? I'm packing a suitcase to go to the hospital. I'm praying that this tumor doesn't explode. And he says, honey, you're in remission. What are you doing? Well, You know, those words, we've all heard remission. Oh, she's in remission. Oh, that person's in remission. And we all know it was something positive, but do we really know what it means? And I really didn't know what it meant. And so he explained to me that every cancer has some sort of a marker. And if you have cancer or you know someone with cancer and you don't know your marker, you better doggone get on the phone with your doctor's office and say, hey, what's my marker? You need to know what they're measuring your progress by. It's like taking a job and not knowing how much you're getting paid, right? You know, you need to know these numbers. Well, my numbers were off the charts and normal would have been 2.5. That day I was 0.05. I am 6 years, 5 months later, and I'm still 0.05.
Wow.
They removed well, he asked again, what are you doing? And I said, I'm taking the Coriellus versicolor mushroom. And his response was interesting. He was perplexed and he said, I know nothing about it. And that made me sad. He's a doctor of oncology, and in Japan, this is their number one protocol. But here, not so much. But there are 400 medical studies on this mushroom. Now, maybe he just couldn't say he knew about it, which the more I've gotten to know him, the more I now understand that he just couldn't say. He did say, don't stop doing what you're doing. Let's get that tumor out. And we are going to recommend chemo because you have a highly aggressive cancer. 40% chance of reoccurrence without this chemo and 10% chance of reoccurrence with the chemo. And then I read a study from Sloan Kettering that said that this mushroom could, in many cases, complement chemotherapy. And that's when I said, I'm doing it. During chemotherapy, I never threw up. I didn't lose my hair. I didn't look like a cancer patient. I didn't feel like a cancer patient. And when I was finished, now granted, there were some bad days. I'm not going to tell you they were all butterflies and unicorns. There were some really bad days. But at the end, all my numbers, everything came back. I was better than I was pre-cancer. Every number, my bone density improved, my blood count, everything improved. So as my body was being destroyed by chemotherapy, every healthy cell being destroyed, the Coriellus versicolor simplicity of a God-created mushroom was giving my body the ability to repair, rebuild, replenish, rejuvenate faster than it was being destroyed. I talked to a girl this weekend, Kelly. Kristen, you know Kelly. She just got through chemo. Kelly went into remission in 30 days as well with this mushroom. And during all of her chemotherapy, 6.5 hours sitting in a room with, stuff going in your vein, poison, she said that the people at the chemo center would say, Kelly, you're doing really good. You haven't thrown up. Everybody else has to keep running out of here to throw up. She didn't get nauseous. She didn't have that white pasty, oh my gosh, look. And she doesn't need that next year after she's done to rebuild because she's fine, right?
That's awesome.
So I tell people this story because all of us know someone who has gotten this horrible news. And I know what goes through their head. I literally remember the phone call, and I remember looking at my husband, and I remember thinking, oh God, help us through this. What am I going to do? Am I going to get sick? How sick am I going to be? Can we afford this? Are we going to lose our house? What's going to happen to my husband? How many gray-haired ladies are going to be waiting at the front door with casseroles for my husband when I croak, right? Don't think that didn't go through my head, but I know what you're feeling. I've been there. So it's really kind of funny, but I really did think that.
If you know her husband, you know why.
But I can relate. I know what they've been through. So please reach out at TrinaWPets@gmail.com. I will talk to someone. I'm not just trying to sell them on what I'm doing. I want to provide them with information. And if nothing else, I'll cry with them. I'll pray with them. I can relate to them. So moving forward, this is not a cure. It is not a treatment. It doesn't heal anything. We're not giving medical or veterinary advice. We're just telling you what the immune system is capable of. And speaking of veterinarians, I'm going to run into another quick little subject. We're facing a nationwide takeover of the veterinarian clinics. The mom and pop clinics, just like the old-fashioned doctor clinics, are being taken over. 2,000 of them have been purchased by two companies. One of them is Mars, the company that makes candy. Really? So here's what you need to understand. They're offering these clinic owners 2 and 3 times what they could sell their practice for. It's hard to be an independent business owner of a veterinarian clinic. By joining in with the corporate umbrella, it gives them more buying power. It gives them more support. but it gives you higher prices and the final health protocol not being by your veterinarian. It's a written protocol. So knowing that our animals are getting sicker and sicker, and knowing that, you know, we know it's the food, it's the vaccines, it's the Roundup in the ground. We just want you guys to understand that, you know, next time you go to your veterinarian, you might want to ask the question, are you owned by a corporation, or does the veterinarian own this practice? And they're usually going to answer you with something vague like, oh, we're part of a co-op, or we're part of a group. No, I want to know if the veterinarian is the one making the final decision, or if they're following a protocol. Because you need to know that. As a pet owner, you need to know, you know, who's making the decisions for your pet's treatment. I'm going to share 2 quick testimonials, and I'm going to move into the next subject. But we had some people call us about 3 or 4 weeks ago that their 14-year-old lab, a golden retriever, Shelby, was not doing well. The vet had said, full of cancer, we can euthanize or we can try chemo, but she probably won't make it through chemo. And they said, what do you think? And we're like, look, you know, what have you got to lose? We FedEx, which, by the way, we have that ability to send things next day. We FedExed some mush puppies, some super sauce, some canned food, a whole bunch of stuff to them. They called us about 4 days later and said, first of all, that she was loving the super sauce. And up to that point, she hadn't been eating much. She loved our canned dog food. She was eating, and they saw a whole different glow in her eyes. They sent me videos on the 8th and 9th day of her playing tug of war, her playing with her ball. And that went on for about 2 weeks. Good life. And then she crashed and burned and passed away. And, you know, I was brokenhearted because I wish we had gotten to Shelby earlier. But then it came to me that, you know what, if we can give these guys one more day, one more hour, one more week, one more month, maybe a few more years of quality, their last memories of Shelby is Shelby playing with her tug of war little rope and her catching her ball. And so, as sad as I am that we lost Shelby, I feel like we've done something good for that family, that we at least gave them some last good moments. I'm going to read a couple of quick testimonials, and then we're going to move on. Diana, I just wanted to give you some news that the mushrooms have already started working on my diabetes. This is a gentleman who's blind, and he got the Coriolis versicolor. My ankles were so much tighter, and I could feel the difference, but because of my eyesight limitations, I couldn't see the difference. But as I was getting my nails clipped by the podiatrist, we noticed that the color of my legs has improved tremendously. The podiatrist said for the last 8 years that my legs were very purple and yellow, but now they're not. I guess that inflammation from the diabetes is going away. I'm so excited for the good news and so encouraged. I bought a big alpha pack, and I am going to double up because I truly believe this is helping. So that was a really nice call. Another one that I love, Diana, my uncle has been taking the Clarity mushrooms for a few days, and guess what? His dizzy spells have gone away. He can turn his head and move fast without getting dizzy like he was before. He's only taking 1 a day, but we're going to double up to 2. We're super excited. So those are the kind of things that we just go, this is so cool. But, you know, when you were talking, you were talking about all the pharmaceuticals and all the pharmaceutical commercials. Oh, my gosh, they're crazy, right? And I saw a quote today that really hit me hard. It said, recovery twice is needed after medication. Once you recover from what you're being treated for, and second, you recover from the treatment.
Yeah.
And that was like, whoa, yeah, you know. So we started doing this deep dive into the GLP-1 shots and all of these things. And today, we're going to talk a little bit about what we believe is mushroom weight management. And we're going to share, you know, a little bit about what we know about this. Unfortunately, our American Heart Association has decided that they will no longer recommend diet and exercise as the number one way to combat obesity. They are now recommending for obesity the GLP-1 type treatment. That's their number one recommendation now. The number 2 will be diet and exercise. And the reason they've changed that is because they said people won't do the diet and exercise, but they'll take a treatment. Very sad. That's very sad to hear from me, that people would rather just have a pill or a shot. Depending on what study that you read, 1 in 8 or 1 in 5 people have tried some sort of GLP-1 program. JP Morgan says that 30 million will be taking this by 2030. 40% of them take it to lose weight. Some take it to manage their A1C and diabetes. 40 to 72% have adverse side effects, including stomach paralysis. Think about that. And Kristen's going to explain why. Vomiting, diarrhea, tumors, cancer, pancreatitis, sometimes even fatal. Excessive slow gut, blindness, hair loss, constipation, gallbladder problems, tumors. This is all from a report that was recently released from the UK. 20 to 50% of the weight that you lose, and it is effective, you lose, is muscle. So
we just talked about that on the other show a while ago. And my daughter's an RN and has a wellness center. And she's adamant with her people. You are going to lose muscle. It does paralyze parts of your body that does not need paralyzing. Mm-hmm. But what I don't think everybody connects, and y'all will probably comment on this, but if you don't have, people don't do what we used to do to build muscle. You don't work in your garden like you used to. You don't dig in your dirt. You don't lift stuff. You don't move stuff around. We've all gotten sedentary because of the lifestyle and the jobs we have nowadays. You know, people used to walk a mile or two to go somewhere. They don't anymore. If we're not building muscle, your muscle is what holds your skeleton up. Yeah. That's why you fall and have hip breakages as you get older, because you don't have the muscle that holds everything in place, and you aren't balanced. And God did not design us to sit in chairs and cars and not build our body. And then when you add taking something that is taking your muscle away even faster, you are setting your body up for disaster.
Exactly. Well, not only that, when you go off of this, which, by the way, it is now considered a lifetime commitment to go on this. If you gain your weight back at 2/3 of the amount, you gain it back, but you don't gain back the muscle, you gain back fat. It's when you stop the treatment. So we recently introduced a mushroom-based weight management protocol, and I'm going to tell you my story real quick, and then we're going to turn it over to Kristen. We got a video we want to quickly show you. I was losing 1 ounce a week. I have been working very hard for the past 5 years on my weight. In the last year, 1 ounce a week, that's 52 ounces a year. That's not very good, but at least it was a loss, right? I'm going in the right direction. When I started this protocol, the first week I lost a pound. The second week I lost a pound. The third week I lost a pound. The fourth week I lost a pound. The fifth week I lost 2.5 pounds. The sixth week I didn't lose anything. And the seventh week I lost about 2 ounces. So I'm down about 7.5 pounds in 7 weeks. And it's interesting because that's way more than what I was doing. We also had another podcaster who someone popped up on their screen and said they've lost 4 pounds in the first 10 days. Now, Kristen has some better stories, but we're gonna show a quick video, and then Kristen's gonna take it from here. So, are we ready with that video, Miss Technical?
Yes, ma'am.
That you are.
We are.
Welcome to our mushroom moment. My name is Kristen Ludlow. I am certified in mycology, which is the study of mushrooms. And right now we're going to talk about GLP-1. This is a hormone that's getting a lot of attention right now in the world of weight loss and metabolic health. GLP-1, or glucagon-like peptide 1, is a natural hormone your body releases after you eat. It helps regulate blood sugar, slows stomach emptying, and signals to your brain that you're full, reducing appetite. GLP-1 medications work by mimicking this hormone, helping people feel full faster, eat less, and better regulate blood sugar. And while they can be effective, they work by overriding the body's natural signaling, and they don't necessarily address the root causes of metabolic imbalance like stress, inflammation, or gut dysfunction. And this is where holistic mushrooms offer a different approach. Holistic mushrooms don't mimic GLP-1 or force appetite suppression. Instead, they support the systems that naturally regulate hunger, blood sugar, and metabolism. Maitake supports insulin sensitivity and healthy glucose metabolism, helping stabilize blood sugar, one of the key drivers of hunger and cravings. Coriolis versicolor supports the gut microbiome, which plays a major role in regulating appetite hormones, including GLP-1 signaling. Reishi supports stress and cortisol balance. When stress is high, appetite signals become dysregulated, often leading to cravings and overeating. Shiitake supports lipid metabolism and helps the body process fats more efficiently. And lion's mane supports the brain and nervous system, helping regulate communication between the gut and brain, the pathway that controls hunger and satiety. Here's the key takeaway: GLP-1 medications mimic a signal. Holistic mushrooms help restore the system that creates the signal. They don't force the body to eat less. They help the body regulate hunger, energy, and metabolism naturally. And that's why mushrooms work differently. They support balance, not override it, helping the body move towards sustainable long-term metabolic health. Thank you for watching, and God bless. Yeah, so as you see, the GLP-1 hormone that we have is already naturally inside of our bodies. And so what's so concerning about these treatments that we see and these medications that are available, and like Diana said, I can't open my email without seeing multiple ads. I was at a hotel and there were ads for these different treatments all down the hallway. I was also turned on my TV in the hotel, commercial after commercial after commercial. And what's really concerning about these is, like Diana said, it's not only the side effects that you're experiencing, but it's those indirect ones that aren't even actual results of the treatment itself, like the sagging, hollow face from losing all that facial fat too quickly, the hair thinning, the muscle loss. All of that is happening because you're losing weight at an unnatural rate. And you're doing it by hijacking the body and overriding and mimicking natural signaling that your body does. That is unnatural. That's why our body responds unnaturally. And then on top of it, a lot of people are paying anywhere from $350 to $1,000 a month for these treatments because they're desperate and they know that it's going to work, and they're willing to pay that money, and they're willing to go through a lot of these side effects because they're desperate to feel good about themselves again and be functional and mobile again. So it's really concerning what we're seeing. But what I want to talk about specifically is what these treatments are actually doing inside of the body, how they're working. So the first thing that they're doing is they're muting the hunger in your brain. There's something that's called food noise, which is just like a constant intrusive thoughts about food, where even while you're eating, you're thinking about what you're going to eat next. Like you're constantly preparing your next meal in your head and in your mind. Even when you're in bed, going to sleep, you're thinking about what you're going to eat when you wake up in the morning. That's called food noise. So these treatments help to silence that food noise. They also lower the food reward. So when you eat food, you do get surges of dopamine that make you feel good. So you're enjoying the food. Well, this lowers those hits of dopamine. So for me, I told Diana, I'm like, it feels like taking the color out of my world. Like, that's why I eat, because it's fun and it feels good to eat and I enjoy it. So when you take away that enjoyment and that reward, like, what's the point of even eating if you're not going to enjoy it? And then it also boosts the fullness signals that your brain gives. So it amplifies the stop eating signals your brain receives. So you feel much more satisfied with smaller portions. Now, the second thing that it does is it slows down your stomach. So it delays the gastric emptying that's happening. So you're staying full longer because it's staying in your stomach longer. And then it also provides what's called a mechanical satiety. So this physical fullness sends continuous signals through the vagus nerve to your brain. So it's reinforcing that feeling that you don't need more food. And then the third thing that it does is it stabilizes your blood sugar. And this is what it was originally intended for. These treatments have been around for over 20 years, and they were originally created for people with type 2 diabetes because the GLP-1s improve how your body handles glucose. So it helps with your insulin management, and it helps with the glucagon suppression. So it keeps your energy levels more stable and reduces cravings. So again, this has been used for 20 years for that purpose. But what the researchers found is that people that were taking it for those reasons were losing weight. And that's actually what made it famous. Now it's famous for losing weight than actually helping with the insulin management and sensitivity. So again, while these treatments can be effective, I think I saw a study that showed that 90% of the time they are effective. Again, they're working by overriding the body's natural signaling, and it's not addressing the root causes of the metabolic imbalances that are happening, like stress or inflammation or the gut dysfunction. So that's why we put together this longevity pack about in December. I was researching mushrooms, and for years and years, I've been taking these two products. It's called Inforce, which is the Coriolis versicolor mushroom, and Inforce Shield, which is the shiitake mushroom. And I've been taking them together, and I'm 20, or I feel like I'm 23 years old. I'm 44 years old. See, in my head, I've convinced myself I'm still 23. I am 23. But but I've been taking them for years, and I used to have a really bad autoimmune marker and so much inflammation. I used to have just so many different health concerns. And for years, I've had impeccable health. My scans, my blood work, everything comes back perfect. I don't dye my hair, haven't dyed my hair in years, don't wear makeup, I don't need to do anything. Just my natural self. I've gotten healthy from the inside out from eating these mushrooms that help support my immune system and support the systems of my body. But back in December, I started learning about something called mitochondrial biogenesis, and how there are 5 mushrooms in particular that activate mitochondrial biogenesis inside of your body. So it helps with longevity and cellular turnover and cellular renewal. Just by eating these mushrooms every day, they're intelligently nourishing our bodies in ways that no other food can. So I thought, that sounds great. Who doesn't want more healthy mitochondria, right? The little powerhouse of the cell. If you can restore the cells, then that will restore the systems. And once the systems are restored, then the body's restored and your quality of life is improved. So I started taking these 4 different products that have these 5 different mushrooms in them. So I was taking the Inforce Plus. I was taking one of these a day, which has the Coriolis versicolor mushroom and the reishi mushroom. So the Coriolis versicolor mushroom supporting the microbiome, and it's helping also naturally create the GLP-1 signaling, not overriding it or mimicking it. It's actually naturally signaling it. And it also has the reishi, which helps with that stress and cortisol balance, because when those are dysregulated, that's when you get the cravings. That's when you're overeating. And then I was already taking one of these Inforce Shield, which is the shiitake mushroom a day. And this is what helps to support your lipid metabolism, and it helps your body process fats more efficiently instead of holding onto them and storing it. It's helping your body burn through it and process it. And then I started adding one of these Inforce Clarity, which is the lion's mane mushroom, because this helps support your brain and nervous system. So when you regulate the communication between the gut and the brain, that's the pathway that controls hunger and satiety. So that's the communication network that helps you maintain a healthy weight. So I started taking one of these a day. And then I also started taking one of these Inforce Restore, which is the red bottle. And this has the maitake mushroom. And this is really great for liver and pancreas support. So it's supporting the insulin sensitivity and the healthy glucose metabolism. And once your blood sugar is stable, then that's one of the main drivers, again, of the hunger and the cravings, along with the cortisol and the stress. So when you have those rebalanced, then a lot of those cravings naturally go away. And then I also started taking a teaspoon of this Beauty and Longevity Gel, which has reishi, shiitake, and maitake in it, along with several other, like vitamin C, AMLA, MSM, hyaluronic acid, like so many good natural ingredients in it. But the reason why I started taking it with these 5 mushrooms is because it's made with proprietary structured water, which helps improve detoxification and helps enhance that nutrient absorption. So you're absorbing more of those beneficial compounds, and it increases your water bioavailability. I'm sorry, I'm using such dirty terms, but I am a nerd. And then it also has inner leaf aloe vera. This is very, very important because it's like almost like a carrier or a vehicle that improves how your body is processing and absorbing, especially the mushrooms, the adaptogenic mushrooms active compounds. So I started taking all these together every day, one of each of these and a teaspoon of this, okay? I did not have weight loss. I was only 135 pounds. I'm 5'9". So I wasn't even thinking about weight loss. And it was just because I'm going through perimenopause. So it's a little bit of hormonal weight that's been on. And I wasn't even thinking about it. And in the month of January, I lost 5 pounds. And now since January, I've consistently stayed at 130 pounds without trying. Didn't change any of my other diet, not my exercise, just from getting this intelligent support into my body, this natural support into my body. My own body rebalanced a lot of those processes on its own. I didn't think anything of it until I was talking to my mom about it in February. And so she ordered the longevity pack and she got it in March. And her story is fascinating because she was overweight. And several years ago, she was taking the Enforce and the Clarity together, and she lost 70 pounds in 10 months and then stayed at that consistent level for several years. But when I was talking to her about this mitochondrial biogenesis, she was like, wow, that sounds like it would be really beneficial for me. So she got the longevity pack. She started taking 2 of each every day because she weighs a little bit more than I do, and 2 teaspoons of the Beauty and Longevity gel. So she'd take half in the morning and then half at night, right before she went to bed. She lost 14 pounds in 14 days on top of all of that other weight. And she's consistently maintained that with no effort. And she said that the craziest part is the food noise is gone, but in a natural way. I'm not obsessing about food anymore, but I'm still enjoying it. And then our other friend, Kurt, he was diabetic. He had type 2 diabetes. He was taking 50 to 80 units of insulin a day. Oh. And he started taking this several years ago and got off the insulin. He lost 65 pounds in about 6 months. And he was doing well. And we told him about this. He bought the longevity pack. He was doing 2 of each a day, 2 teaspoons of this every day. And he lost 12 pounds in 8 days.
Wow. That's awesome.
Again, I just want to reinforce these mushrooms do not create GLP-1 specifically. They're not forcing your body to eat less. They're not overriding. They're not hijacking. These are not weight loss pills, or this is not like a weight loss program. All these are foods, no different from mushrooms you would eat on a salad, that nourish our bodies in ways that no other food can. And when we're getting that support of our systems, instead of chasing all the symptoms and trying to treat all the symptoms, if we're eating these foods that are supporting the systems, the body naturally balances and regulates itself. And so whatever's causing that weight gain, whether it's stress or hormonal or gut dysfunction or inflammation, whatever it is, the body knows, and it will reactivate processes and it will reactivate systems that have slowed down or been compromised because of aging and stress and trauma. And it will be able to balance and maintain the weight that you should be according to your DNA blueprint, because it's different for everybody, right? Everybody's body is different. So it's just a completely different approach where it's almost a thing that's happening indirectly. None of us did it for the weight loss benefits. All of us were like, we just want to feel good and we want to be feeding our body the right things. And these are pharmaceutical grade extracts. They're pure, they're potent. We've perfected the extraction process, and that's why they're so effective. Like everyone that we know that's trying them is feeling better, and they're feeling good about themselves. And not only the health improvements that they're experiencing, but also just the peace of mind, right? You feel so helpless. You feel discouraged. I know so many people that are doing these treatments that are doing crash diets, and I know women going through perimenopause that are at the gym, like they're literally doing every single thing they can think of and nothing's helping. And that breaks my heart, that feeling of helplessness. But when you can put these foods into your body and let your body start using them and processing them and metabolizing them, and then watching everything rebalance, it's such a peace of mind, and it's really, really encouraging. So like I said, if you get the longevity pack, which has all of them together, you do save about $15. So it's a little bit of a discount for you. I encourage trying it, yeah. At least for 30 days. And here's the best part. Like, even if you don't see weight loss or whatever, because these aren't cures, they're not drugs, they're not treatments, they're not medications, we're not doctors. We're just people like you that have done thousands of hours of independent research and asked a lot of good questions and figured out stuff for ourselves, right?
Yep.
And so there's no guarantee that any specific thing that is going to happen. But what I can share with you and what all of the research is finding, there are hundreds of published studies. These are the most scientifically validated mechanisms that are out there. And what all of the research is finding is that these mushrooms are nourishing our bodies in a special way. And you cannot get this type of nourishment from any other food, from any other source on the planet. They are nature's greatest ally for us. So get it into your body and allow your body to do what it was designed to do. And then you'll realize, oh, this is how I was supposed to be feeling. You just kind of
to close out, because I know we have to go here, but when you stop this program, if you decide to stop it, which most won't because they feel so good, it's not like when you stop the GPL and now you start reverting backwards. You've already started this working well, and it's so exciting to watch. TrinaWPets.com, go to human, and you'll see the longevity pack, or you can go to packs and you'll see the longevity pack. Trina, we appreciate you.
Well, thank you. I do want to say one thing on what Kristen said about 30 days. If y'all are like me and a lot of my friends and family, we are so not undernourished, but malnourished to some degree because we eat out. We use shortcuts. I cut a lot of that out of my diet a couple of years ago, and that mattered to my system. Yeah. But we do not have enough good nutrients in our system. That 30 days is just catching your body up with where it needs to be. The next 30 days is where you're going to start probably seeing more changes to the structure of your actual physical body, because everything should be done in a loaded dose for 60 days. And by saying loaded dose, when Diana gave you the numbers on, I should have had 3 a day, so I started taking 10 a day. When you are trying to redo something and reset your body, it takes more sometimes. So where Kristen takes one of each of those 4 and 1 teaspoon a day, you could still do the 1 teaspoon on the gel, but you might need 2 of each one of those a day for your first 30 to 60 days. Yeah. I'm not trying to get you to spend more money. That is not about it. But I want everyone to understand, when it comes to resetting your physical body that has been so undernourished properly,
and attacked.
It takes a minute, yes, and attacked by the environment, by the water you drink, by the air we breathe.
So the 1 a day is for someone who's 100 pounds. If you're 200 pounds, it's 2 a day. Okay. So then do the math from there. But people that are watching this, please, please, please share this link with anyone you know who is considering or doing the GLP-1 programs. This might be something that could save them, and you could be doing them a great service. And don't forget to go to Trina W Pets to support it. Yes, Kristen.
And email any questions that you have for pets or humans to TrinaWPets@gmail. Oh, and I spelled it wrong. That email was my dyslexic issue.
Yeah, and I will answer wrong. I'll get them.
And I will add, Trina, you brought up such a great point. So when you look at the research that's been done, what the researchers are finding is it takes about 5 to 12 weeks to start that cellular turnover, because your body has to, we've been attacked. We've been bombarded with toxicity in the foods and the chemicals and the air and the water. There's just toxicity everywhere, plastics everywhere. And so it does take about 5 to 12 weeks for that cellular turnover to begin. And so that's when you're going to really start noticing most of the benefits within that period. And it's going to be different for everybody, because everybody metabolizes foods at different rates depending on what's happening inside of your body. So thank you for bringing that up, because that's a very important point.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Well, thank you both for joining us. Thank you for trying to make us all healthy again. Yeah. I'm going to have to order chill doggies. It's been storming in Arkansas, and we've been through a whole bag in about 2 weeks.
You in Texas. I've been getting calls from Texas like crazy on that. Yeah.
Yes. So thank you, ladies, and we will have you back on again, and y'all have a blessed day. And bye, everybody. Thank you for hanging out.
God bless.